is teaching all students a holistic and collaborative approach to increasing student success by Dr. Veronica Udeogalanya. Before I, make my full presentation, I would like you to please focus on these words of wisdom. Number one, education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. Nelson Mandela. The second is, learning is not attained by chance. It must sought for with ardor and diligence. Abigail Adams. And my humble self, I want to leave with you the fact that faculty make the art of teaching and learning matter. What we do is very important. So, what is the problem? All students who enroll have success as their main goal. However, most institutions focus their resources on programs for students on honor roll, dean's list, and those progressing academically. Little resources remain for those students who stumble. In 2015, 36.2% of white students, 22.5% of Black students, and 15.5% of Hispanic students in the United States had completed 4 years of college. This shows a 13.7% gap between Black and white students and a 20.7% gap between Hispanic and white students. Now, the question that I pose to you, my colleagues, is how do we close this gap in educational completion? Let's see what the literature says. And I will cut it short. York et al. Identifies 6 elements of academic success, namely academic achievement, engagement in educationally purposeful activities, acquisition of desired knowledge, skills and competencies, persistence, and post-college performance. Whittam et al. 2015 suggested that faculty must take into account the unique needs and characteristics of their students. More research showed that the answer may lie in the development of a comprehensive database addressing practical and measurable strategies in both academic success and the acquisition of soft skills that can advance student success. Methodology. This paper represents an exploratory, fundamental, and qualitative research that aim to focus on the role of faculty in teaching and learning to reach all students in the classrooms. The analysis of the study is based on secondary data and sourced from existing literature and best practices. The objective was to ascertain the effectiveness of a holistic and collaborative approach to increasing student success. The study questions that guided the development of our model were: how do students define academic success? What factors do they perceive as facilitators of such academic success? Now, the first stage of the study, as presented in this paper, identified successful strategies and practices faculty can implement to teach all the enrolled students in their institution and increase the academic success. The next stage will be to identify components of the model that worked and those that did not work. In the process of the research study, we were able to develop a model which we present here for you. Now, the holistic and collaborative model of student academic success, which is figure 1, we will bring up very soon, derives from the deep teaching model articulated by Dewsbury 2019, who discussed how a sequential approach to understanding faculty and empathizing with students puts this instructor in a better position to create enduring positive classroom climates. Our model also agreed with Telin 2011, who emphasized the implementation of a progressive pedagogical technique, leveraging the power of the community. Furthermore, our model considered Hack et al. 2011, who suggested that faculty should emphasize a pedagogy that acknowledges students' agency in learning, thereby giving the students a voice. Against this background, our paper developed a model that can help in achieving this goal. As you can see before you, part one is the holistic component that involves engaging all students in the institution, communicating purposefully to them in a timely manner, and providing an all-inclusive, comprehensive support service that motivates, encourages, and enables all students. Part two is the collaborative component, which involves bringing 6 working teams together. Who are these 6 teams? Faculty, industry, current majors, alumni, career services, and the community. This part engages the collaborative team in doing what? Maintaining a living curriculum that reflects the ever-changing global economy, inviting input in the curriculum from the external stakeholders in the collaborative team, and this means bridging practice and theory, thus strengthening the curriculum. Part 3 of the model is celebration of student success, which involves the collaborative team owning each milestone achieved by their students, reaffirming teamwork while building trust and persistence at each stage. Part 4 is the assessment of student progress using a holistic and collaborative approach. And all this is in the main paper itself, which is available. So as you can see, to achieve student academic success, we need these 4 components. So what did we find? We found that students enroll into colleges and universities with great expectations of academic success. And research showed that these expectations can indeed be achieved. But decreasing higher education funding has placed real constraint on what institutions can do to respond to these expectations. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and persistent increases in global economic crisis, increasing the academic success rate of students in colleges and universities in the United States and indeed the world has become even more dire. Most business schools have become looking within to rethink and repurpose many of their academic programs and activities. For example, assessment of how faculty teach and how students learn, focusing on who we teach and how we teach. Using innovations in pedagogies as well as teaching-related technology. Retraining and retooling academic operations and processes. Academic program realignment and or program measures. Shorter degree programs and accelerated courses. Increases in job placements and provision of certification programs. Researchers maintain that these suggested activities can help increase student academic success. Conclusion. As has been demonstrated in this paper, a great faculty should develop relations with their students to build trust, and they should be patient, caring, and have a kind personality. Our model suggests that student success is increased by engaging all students, communicating purposely to all of them, designing comprehensive support services, establishing groups of stakeholders to collaborate in a living curriculum that bridges theory and practice in the curriculum, administering continuous assessment of student progress by embracing flexibility for learning, intentionally creating opportunities in the classroom to meet students where they are, rethinking high and low stakes assessment to help students to demonstrate mastery, thus guaranteeing excellence with empathy and making the celebration of student progress highly visible. Jointly owning students' milestones, for example, celebrating Student of the Month, Faculty of the Month, Staff of the Month, and Community Business Participant of the Month. These collaborative celebrations build trust and forge greater joint efforts that increase enrollment, retention, and graduation rates. This paper concluded that while we train students to acquire the skills of acknowledging their obligations to be proactive through their academic programs, faculty must also have their students' employability in mind. We encourage faculty to embrace all students as the center of their professional progress and continuously view student performance as a measuring stick of faculty growth and development. As stated earlier, the income and opportunity gaps that exist in the United States and the world increases the equalizing power of effective education. We believe that an implementation of the 4 components of our model developed in this paper will increase the number of underrepresented and low-income students in colleges and universities of our nation and the world. Recommendation. Faculty are increasingly encouraged to think outside the box. How do you do this? By designing assessment metrics that measure flexible learning, meeting the students where they are, breaking assignments into chunks, and measuring those smaller chunks. Rethinking high and low stakes tests that demonstrate student mastery of learning, promoting classroom assessment techniques that enhance learning through innovation, and ensuring both formative and summative assessment metrics. This paper's model encourages collaboration among schools, departments, academic programs to build and leverage synergies and continually review existing programs that eliminate duplication of activities, thereby minimizing student frustrations. As we focus on how faculty can teach all our students, we must also discuss the institutional policies that encourage faculty to excel in teaching and learning. The key messages from our presentation and discussion are as follows. Faculty need to encourage students to be aware of their responsibility, charge of their independent learning, but also acknowledge the need for student support to develop the required skills. Curriculum need to be intentionally developed to increase employability of all students, since it is a gateway to the world of work. And faculty need to embrace change and currency as a positive response to the funding challenges of our time. And we recognize that these are some of the data that we brought in. Our PowerPoint is available, so please you can take a look at it. Time makes me rush right now. Limitations and further research. Of course, this paper does not have all the answers. There definitely are other variables that may also help in a to teach all their students. A comprehensive study of such factors, not included here, could add to our understanding. Further research is needed to determine the impact of intentionality, inclusivity, and flexibility in assessing academic success of all enrolled students. Further studies could consider factors such as increased excellence with empathy pedagogy. How do we teach with love in our hearts? How do we increase the number of students who are ready to go to work? Because if they are not at the table, they will not be able to share in the pie. Thank you so much, colleagues. Any questions?
Wonderful presentation. I do have a question. We know that faculty are the bridgeway to the students' learning. They depend on us. You also mentioned that faculty should be caring, empathetic, and I saw one on your slide presentation that they should have great personalities. We all know that everything is not perfect. We have some faculty that have all of that and some faculty that don't. What are some ways that faculty and administration could help others to get to the place where the students can get as much as they can, as you suggested in your paper?
Excellent. Thank you, Dean Rowe, for a wonderful question. Institutional support of faculty development. I know that our college, for example, used to have our winter faculty development, get together, where we devote 3 days to faculty, master teachers, empowering the new faculty, and people sharing new things that they've learned, because we learn something new every day. So it is investment in faculty development by who? The institution, the administration. We need more of that going on. That's what I think. Yes, my dear Cheryl. Yes, go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. Do the CUNY or does Medgar ever do like a faculty assessment survey? I know another 2 CUNY colleges at the end of the semester, the faculty, the students rate the performance of the performance of the faculty. Is that still taking place in CUNY system?
Oh, yes, yes. Okay. We have, peer-to-peer evaluation. We have student evaluation. But that most of the time, the results of such evaluations are not shared with faculty themselves, so that they will know where their, weaknesses are. So most of these things are political in nature. However, department chairs usually bring in faculty to talk to them about, their evaluation and what the students are saying, so that they will know. And of course, many faculties are written up. Some faculties are, informally informed of what they must do to improve their teaching.
And one more other thing, and I know you had my time. I worked in student affairs for 6 years under Dr. Castro, and I taught in New York City school system for 15 years. And one of the things I find that the students find, it would be helpful if the faculty, as has been mentioned prior, to more hours and more availability. But thank you for taking my question.
Excellent.